hello everyone, and welcome. We are at IACIS down in Orlando, Florida, and I tell you what, it is a lot nicer here than it is back in Ohio. That's for sure. Where are you from exactly?
I am from Las Vegas, Nevada.
That's right, and that you still reside there.
I do.
So you're used to the semi-warmer-ish. What's it get down to in the winter there?
In winter, so we have maybe about a week or a week and a half below freezing.
Oh,
That's
okay.
about it.
That's
Um,
about it.
Yeah, and in December, January, then we get the cold winds. But other than that, yeah, once it hits 105 in July, and then you probably want to stay in.
Right, right. And I'm not complaining too much about that. Yeah, no. It was funny. I was watching. I got down here on Wednesday. Got here on Wednesday, and I got a warning alert back home that if stuff was still freezing. So I'm like, yeah, there's no complaints being here right now.
Yeah, no, and we're
Zero.
running a very cool and wet year so far. So it's actually been pretty nice. When I landed Saturday, I was surprised at how warm it was because it hadn't gotten that warm in Vegas yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've actually been running a very cool year.
Well, yeah, no, it's not too bad because considering you said you get what's the hottest it gets there roughly?
I remember when I was working graveyard, we'd still be hitting over 100 at midnight, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh.
Just because of the heat effect.
Yeah.
But during the day, working day shift, it'd easily exceed 115 during the summer.
Holy.
Yeah, you get to learn where all the convenience stores at, where you can go in and step back into the freezers and put your arms up and have the blowers go down inside your vest and everything.
That's right. I didn't consider you were in that full body armor too, and it was hot in Ohio. I can imagine when you're cooking at 100 and some degrees.
Yeah, the best part is it's not swampy.
Yeah.
So it really does make a difference for the dry heat. But yeah, after 105, it's just hot. There's no way to make it better.
I would say after 90, it's hot.
90's good. 90's like that's spring. We're good to go. I'm all set for chasing and jumping over walls and shit.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I take that back.
Yeah, a little insane. Hang on, I'm gonna adjust my mic here real quick. For some reason, I didn't have it tight. It's like slowly falling down here. All right, I muted yours, so that's all right.
That works out.
Can't talk. There we go. All right. Anyway, there we got it. All right. So hey, we're at the training event, the big one IACIS does every year.
It is. It's our major event for the year.
And it's for those of you who don't know and have never seen this or been down here before. And I came down here when it was still up in
Lake Mary,
Maitland. Was it Maitland? Or Lake
Could
Mary?
be.
It was to Sheridan.
Okay, we've been at Sheridan. Then we
That
were
was
at Lake
Maitland.
Mary before that.
Yeah, Lake Mary was before that, and then we moved. I was in 07.
Yeah, I think I came in 06.
Okay.
And it was Lake Mary.
Okay.
At least I want to say it was.
Yeah, I knew it was Lake Mary, and then it kind of moved closer every time.
Yeah, we've moved
time
closer
you've
to the mouse every year. And a lot of it is depended on, we kept growing and we kept outgrowing the venues that we were at. And then we hit the size where we're not big enough for some hotels.
Right.
And then we're too small for some, or we're too big for some hotels. So it makes it challenging to find the space that we need because we're running the one big class and we have maybe a dozen advanced type classes and vendor classes.
Yeah.
So it's a good sized group. Just in some cases, it's just not big enough for the other venues.
Yeah, and it's a 2-week event, correct?
Correct. So we had the 2-week basic course, the BCFE, where we're running on about 400 students right now. And then we have a number of 1-week classes that either repeat. I think the Cypher class, the network investigation course is 2 weeks. And then Samari's MAC class, they had their MAC 101, then they roll right into the MAC 201. And then I think the Windows Advanced Forensics repeats. So you have week 1 and week 2.
Week 2, yeah. Okay.
So that way you still give people a chance to come out and at least get a week's worth of training.
Sure. And those are probably pretty popular when you have to run those.
Oh, they are.
And really
Almost
get
every course ends up having a wait list at one point or another.
That's insane.
That's the BCFE usually sells out first. And
that's surprising. I mean, because it's hard for maybe I'll try to go get a picture of when it's emptied out over lunch, and just take a picture from one end to the next.
It's almost a full football field.
It's massive. I mean, if you've been to training before, you just don't understand. This is massive in there.
I've you go in and you got the big main center table where the instructor's at, and it's a big platform. And then you have at least 4 or 5 screens set up behind them, and you're covering the football length's worth of area.
Yeah.
I mean, I've taught classes, I've taught small classes, I've taught classes up to 25, 50, 100 people. But something of this size is, I'm very interactive as an instructor. I like going down and walking the rows and engaging and getting eye contact. And I think teaching something this large is so much more difficult because it's hard to get that eye to eye contact and seeing when it clicks for the student.
You'll get your steps in. I see you got an apple on.
Oh, absolutely.
Walking that far.
Oh, yeah.
That's for sure.
It's huge. And I think it's just it's so much harder to teach in that environment because you're not getting that feedback. It's almost like teaching online.
Yeah.
Because you're engaging, but you're not getting that personal level of engagement. So the instructors, who are all volunteers, by the way, do an amazing job.
And that's something else I've been impressed about every year. You know, I've come down here, obviously I came through years ago, and then I've been down here the last 3 years with Cyber Social Hub. And it doesn't, maybe you guys see it a little differently, and I'm sure you do. We see it as a really well-oiled machine. I mean, it just runs, and everything runs smooth, and the vendors are all just like here, gone. I mean, you have 3-day blocks, and all the students in, out. Everything's just running the way it's supposed to, at least on the outward appearance. You guys do an excellent job for all volunteers. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, behind the scenes, it's herding cats.
Yeah.
it really is. It for the number of people, the number of moving parts, and like you said, everybody's volunteer.
Yeah.
So they're juggling their personal, professional lives, and then they put everything on hold to come down here for 2 weeks. It's just amazing. We do have some of the greatest people in the world, and the hard work that people put in. Our director of training, Erin Mitchell, she does an amazing job getting all this set up. And you talked about the vendors and the marketing. Rich Johnson, who's our outgoing director of marketing, he has taken marketing to a whole nother level. And he's just a call from Ohio.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's down the road from me, actually.
Yeah.
It's like 5 minutes from my house.
You talk to him, and he's such a down-to-earth guy, and he didn't have any marketing experience before he came in the position. And what he's done in the 3 years he was here is it's just amazing. And I'm going to miss him and the expertise that he brought in, because I'm not a marketing guy. And just trying to figure out what he did and how he does it is trying to wrap my brain around it. And like I said, I can't give enough props to people I work with.
Yeah.
It's just amazing what they do, and they reach outside of their comfort levels to do these things that I never thought I would do anything like this.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you guys ever consider being part of an organization that is really truly giving back, I mean, that's volunteers, like the ultimate giving back. You're taking a week of their own time, and they're or sometimes 2 weeks. Some of the instructors are.
Well, it's physically 2 weeks here, but all the prep that goes
it's true
around it. So for the content's constantly being updated because you have to stay relevant, and that's one of the hardest things to do in this field because we're dealing with digital and everything changes.
Yeah.
It's like, how many times have you, in fact, talking this morning, Facebook. Did Facebook change something this morning? Yes.
They did.
Tell us. No, they did not. It's the same thing with Windows. It's the same thing with Apple. It staying cognizant of what's changing and where they hide the artifacts to figure out what it is. Thing. So we have committees and we have chairs, and each one's directing the little parts, and they go through and they're looking at, all right, we have to revise Windows. Windows 11's coming out. Where are the new artifacts? What's changed? What hasn't changed? And then what happens when they do an update? And it's the same thing. So, and then we have our different levels of review. So we still have our department of our standards directorate, I guess, standards committee, who has to make sure that we meet our own standards.
Right.
In fact, we had a meeting. I have monthly meetings as these services when we're looking at some of our online offerings, and we're talking about the requirements. And turned out we weren't meeting our own standards that we had to go back and fix. So I had to send an email. It's like, hey, just a heads up. I don't think we're doing this correctly. And I was told, yeah, we're right. We fixed it. And it was an easy fix.
That's awesome, though.
But once again, it's these self-checks go through. And once again, all the work that goes into this event is continual.
Mm-hmm.
I know training, which is probably the largest committee that we have, they have quarterly meetings where they bring the groups in, and they have to get together. I mean, it's not something that is easily done across Zoom
Right.
or telehealth, not telehealth, but across the camera do it
Right.
to get your ideas across. Because I know as a board of directors, we do also do our quarterly meetings, and it's great if we can get it all together. But sometimes things are going on, and you can't. It's very hard to be. I find it very hard for me not to be in person.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I get distracted easily.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
I do too. Your browser's open, you're like, oh,
yeah,
what are they talking? I don't really care what they're talking about. Let's play some whatever.
yeah, pretty much. Yep, yep. Red Dead Redemption on too.
There
Okay,
you go.
yeah. Yep. Oh yeah, we're blowing that up. Oh, what'd you say?
That is
Yeah,
a
I
fun
agree.
game, though. It is a fun game. I
Right.
played that. Awesome. Well, hey, I want to know a little bit about you. I'm always interested in how someone got started from point A, which we won't go back to birth though, but at least advance up to where you started in digital forensics and how you got to where you're at right now, because
Yeah.
it's always fascinating. Everyone's path is always a little different. And I know a lot of people out are interested in they maybe, have their 25 years in and they're looking like, okay, what am I going to do now? What?
Yeah, my path was like totally accidental.
Yeah.
Um, I grew up in Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
in Henderson, which is a suburb outside. They
Yeah.
all kind of grown together now. And I joined the Marine Corps. I mean, before I even graduated high school. So I was active duty up until 91. And I got out right after the first Gulf War.
Mm-hmm.
And I joined Metro, Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. And I did the usual stuff, starting patrol, did the FTO thing, and then I became a resident officer for Laughlin. Now, our agency is a bit unique. We're a merged agency.
Mm-hmm.
So we were combined the Las Vegas City Police with the Clark County Sheriffs. So
Okay.
we have the jurisdiction for the whole county.
Yeah.
So they're incorporated towns such as Henderson, Boulder City. They run their own police forces, but as Metro, we still have the ability to enforce laws and things like that. And we also have unincorporated cities such as Laughlin, which is at the southern part of the state.
Okay.
Now, the strip that everybody's familiar with and considers to be Las Vegas is actually not in the city of Las Vegas.
Oh, no kidding.
It's in an unincorporated town of Paradise.
Wow, I never knew that.
Yeah, so downtown is actually the city of Las Vegas. The strip south of Sahara from the Strat going all the way down to all the new stuff
Mm-hmm.
is all unincorporated Clark County. So the city of Las Vegas never sees any of that tax revenue because it's all Clark County.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So even though I live in unincorporated Clark County, but my address when you mail me something says Las Vegas, Nevada. Until the cities incorporate, then you don't get a separate town name or anything like that, like
That's
Boulder City or North Las Vegas.
I would figure Las Vegas would actually annex places like that for the tax revenue.
They have, and we're kind of landlocked because a lot of the surrounding area is federally owned.
Oh.
So as the Bureau of Land Management (BLM) releases land, then they start doing the development. So the city of Las Vegas has done a tremendous amount of growth going to the west and the northwest. The county has had a lot of growth to the south and southwest. As you go to the east and the east side, you run into a mountain, so it's kind of hard to go that way. And then Lake Mead.
Well, I'm just waiting for the mountain casino. They just drill through and make the whole inside
It's probably coming.
casino.
It's coming.
Right?
Probably going to have Elon Musk come then do the tunnels.
There you go.
Because he's starting the tunnels now for the convention center and running underground Teslas to run people around. So
No kidding.
that's if that ever gets fully implemented the way they got planned, it's going to be pretty amazing.
That's crazy. That's
But-
crazy. But so
Yeah, so we jumped off a little bit. So
that's
I
all right.
became a
It
resident
happens
officer.
often.
So our resident officer position is you're kind of a patrol guy, detective guy, rolled all in one. And we have some officers that live in it's an outlying community.
Okay.
It's about 90 minutes south of Las Vegas.
Okay.
And so we had people who actually moved there and was part of the community, and then we had travelers like myself. I stayed in Las Vegas, but I commuted down to Laughlin every day. And as a resident officer, if you live there, you get a 20% bump in pay that goes to retirement. If you're a commuter, then you get 10 hours overtime and that does not go to retirement. So
Gotcha.
it's a pretty popular assignment. And I was there for 2 years, and I got to experience, doing the typical patrol stuff, but also getting more involved in investigations
Sure.
on the detective side. And then I tested for the detective position that came up, and I got the call and said, okay, you have a choice. All right. You're next up on the list. And the opening we got is in child sexual abuse.
Mm.
And Ralph Hemington was the sergeant at the time, and he's the one that called me and goes, we can understand why you don't want to come down here. Why you would not want to come, this would be your first choice. If you want to pass, then your next choice is property crimes. I'm like, I really don't want to do property crimes.
Right. No.
So I said, no, I'll give it a shot. And that's how I ended. So I ended up, this would have been 2000-ish.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up being a detective in the child sexual abuse unit. And we had about 6 detectives. And then we're in the office, I'm getting set up, and I see this little short, bald guy every Wednesday walk into the building, and then go into the office and look like a little closet
Yeah.
and disappear. I was like, who is that guy? He goes, oh, that's our FBI agent. Well, what's he do? He does something with computers. We don't know.
Something. We don't really know. It's magic.
It is. And he only came in.
Right.
He only came in on Wednesdays for like a half a day. But he just walked in and he locked himself in the closet.
How do I get that job? Locking myself in the closet
exactly.
for half a day.
And I want to say, and I might be wrong, I want to say it was the Innocent Images Task Force.
Okay.
So it was before the Catch a Predator type stuff
Yeah.
and everything like that. This is back at AOL.
Oh yeah.
Type things.
Yahoo chat groups and
Yes.
all that fun stuff.
And
right?
the picture trading rooms and AOL, that kind of thing. So it's like, okay, that kind of piqued my interest. And me and my partner at the time, Larry Smith, he had done some computer investigative courses.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to remember, this is early 2000s, so
Yeah.
this is still in the baby steps.
Oh boy.
I mean, we're still in baby steps of phones too, and they're just trying to figure it out. So we're able to talk to the department. We slowly started getting some training. Larry was able to pull in and start working at part time, and then there's a restructuring in the department. This would have been about 03 or so. They wanted to start a task force with the Secret Service, the Electronic Crimes Task Force.
Yes.
So
the feds have the money.
Exactly. So they grabbed 2 guys from property crimes that were already kind of working some electronic crime stuff. They grabbed me and Larry, and we started working electronic. And that's how I got into it. I just kind of went did. And the first training I went to was with Mike Anderson, one of the founders of IACIS.
Yeah.
He had a company up in Gresham, Oregon, NTI, and it very IACIS similarly now. As I look back, you had to manually do everything.
Yeah.
I mean, manually pausing, perusing the sectors of a floppy disk, and chaining things back together. But it happened to be the week of 9/11. That was a week we were supposed to fly out and go up to Gresham and do the training. And of course, that got canceled because everything got grounded. When they finally lifted the flight order, they did the classes, brought us all back. And we were the first class to run after 9/11. So it was kind of an emotional thing at the time.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But going through it, Joe Duke, one of the lifetime members, original founders here, was up there, gave some of the classes, and it was very eye-opening. And then after we transferred to the task force, I was able to come to ISIS, I want to say in 06. And that's when I started. And when they say, and you go through the BCFE, you sit in a row with probably, it's almost like a squad.
Yeah.
There's 6 or 7 people there. And you actually, over the 2-week course, you really bond together.
You do. You do.
Like I said, it's been almost 20 years. I'm still in contact with some of my row mates that way back then we went and got our BCFE together.
Yeah. My roommate one of my roommates I met, Mark, he came to my wedding. So, and he was from New Jersey. I was in Ohio. So he came out for the wedding.
It's amazing how we still keep in contact. And like Phil, at the time he was working highway patrol.
Yeah.
We stayed in the field, stayed in contact. He left California Highway Patrol, went to work for then guidance software.
Yeah, yeah.
Worked there a couple of years, then went back to Highway Patrol. He actually just retired from the Highway Patrol. I think retired as a lieutenant, and now is relocated to Tennessee. I think he's retired now, not
Wow.
doing anything else.
Wow. Yeah. And just so you know, it never fails. Every time we go live, they start pushing carts. I blame Brandon. He's walking behind us here in the cameras. There goes the carts as soon as we go live.
Of course, I expect nothing else.
We can sit here all day, not a cart will go by.
And they come, and it's like they hit, bam! I can make that screech.
Oh yeah, yeah. We can make it louder. Now that we figured the mics out, it's not nearly as loud as it was yesterday. I realized before we went live that I had my mic on the wrong setting. I had it for the home setup,
right?
With this a powered mic, and these are they do a decent job of keeping no noise down. If I have them set right, that's the key.
Always key.
That's the key. So now, what happened, and how did you get more involved with IACIS? Obviously, you went through the training in about 2006, which is the year prior to me. So we're suddenly old, by the way. If you think about that number, it doesn't seem that long ago in my head.
No.
But then when you say, hey, it's 2024, you're like, oh, crap.
So
that's been a minute.
As soon as I did, we went through it, and they give the pitch, volunteer, because it's a continue to give. It's very fulfilling.
Yeah.
And I started coaching.
Yeah.
So it's a 2-step process. You go through the 2-week training course, and then for the certification is a peer review process where you have to go through 4 different examinations, for lack of a better term. And you have a coach, a person that helps you and guides you along the way. They don't give you the answers, but they kind of point you in the right direction, tell you where you might want to explore this concept a little more deeper.
Yeah.
Or you're wasting time going in this direction. It helps give you experience on what to experience instead of just throwing you into the deep end, which happens a lot. And I decided once I got my certification, I wanted to do that. And I enjoyed that because I also around the same time started teaching at my local community college. So I was doing in-person classes then, and also trying to morph into either a hybrid or to an online course. Because once again, we're back in the early 2000s.
Sure.
Online courses weren't a thing.
No.
So I was trying to migrate that way to offer more classes, arrange more availability, and just spread the product out. So I started coaching, and I've been coaching ever since.
Wow.
I never had the ability to come to the event to be on staff because of the time commitment. But when I had to spend my training dollars, I came here. Because if I got to spend money to classes, I'm going to do it to where I can do the most good and still get the best training and be current and coordinate and connect with all the law enforcement guys across the world, actually.
Yeah.
And during this time, I started also working with the anti-terrorism assistance program, cyber, doing cyber training across the world.
Wow.
So was working with law enforcement with our allied nations and working with their local and federal law enforcement agencies, how to identify, seize, process digital evidence, as well as setting up their own laboratories so that they can do it on their own. So it all kind of worked together.
Right. Yeah. That's amazing. And again, how many volunteers do you think are here just right now? Do you know a number? I'm putting you on the spot, but
I want to say over 200.
It's a stinging lot. I mean, I can't look without seeing gray shirt somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it's everywhere.
Well, you figure just for the BCFE class, you have 2 row coaches for each row.
Okay.
And then you have
man, how many rows?
Yeah, exactly. Well, if you look, it's at least 10 deep, and we're running a football field across.
Yeah.
So,
and he's not joking when he says a football field of crap.
Yeah.
I mean, not joking.
Yeah. So you have the two row coaches for each row, and then you have their supervisor, the group lead, and who's monitoring 3 or 4 rows. And I'm not sure how it's set up because it's not my area, but yeah, it's a whole hierarchy that's going through. Plus, we have our operations section who's handling. You come to the BCFE, you get a laptop, you get a backpack, you get a backpack full of equipment. All that's got to be stored. It's got to be purchased. It's got to be
it's got to be set up, right?
It's got to be set up.
It's not like you make them install everything day one, right?
Correct.
I mean, it's ready to go.
So the process. We have our own operations group doing that thing. we also have to navigate once when we have marketing.
Yeah.
He has probably 5 or 6 people here doing his thing, make sure the marketing's get their table, get their set up. We have the vendors nights, make sure that's set up. Um, Certifications here also, because once the students are done with the 2 week course, they're rolling right into cert, so they got to be cognizant of what the material is. In fact, I just got an email this morning from my peer review chief saying, "Hey, you're going to get your students' names this week. Make sure you look at it. Make sure you don't have any personal conflicts." Because it has been where I've been assigned a guy from my old agency, and it's like, yeah, that might create
Sure.
appearance of impropriety, so you might
Right.
want to switch them up.
Right.
Um, but it happens. But yeah, this is a huge machine, and there's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, and I tell you what, it's some of the, in my opinion, it's some of the best training available in digital investigation space. Period.
Yeah.
Period. I mean, there's some out there that's going to cost you some crazy, outrageous amounts of money, but if you go on the website and look, which is IACIS.com or .org,
It's .com.
.com. You can go look and see all the classes that are given here in this week. Now, obviously, we can talk about them, but it's too late. It's going on like right now and next week. But for next year, man, look at the price tag on those things. You're not going to find a better deal on the top quality training. It's just not going to happen.
No, and well, that's one of the goals is our mission is to train law enforcement professionals across the world.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to keep it affordable, give them the most bang for their buck. And part of that is reaching out for vendors, getting donations.
Yeah.
Going to the BCFE course, you're getting a laptop that you get to use during the course and then take home with you. I know when the first BCFE I went to, we didn't get a laptop, but we got write blockers.
Yeah, we did get some of those things.
We got a lot of other different tools because once again, 06 is before laptops were really good, so they actually had monitors.
Bricks. They were bricks.
Yeah. we had full PC systems set up then.
Yep, exactly.
But yeah, so you get a lot of equipment for, I want to say it was $2,900 approximately for the course to come in for a 2-week course.
2-week training, that's unheard of. You'll pay that for a 2-day to 3-day training.
Oh, easy.
And it's really very specific on like, hey, how to use this tool type training.
Right, and it's tool based.
Yeah.
We're not tool based.
No.
I mean, ours is more the concept. If you take this course, you can figure out any tool, and to use it. It's amazing the value that you get, especially for an 80-hour course, and then a certification that goes along with it.
Yep.
Some of our advanced classes, same thing. You get equipment, you get the backpack, and same thing. Now, some of the vendor courses, we have vendors come in, such as Celebrite.
Sure.
And they teach their classes.
Yep.
And they're set up a little different, but we try to keep them at the same price point. Samari's Mac class, same thing. Come in, same price point.
He's been involved for years anyway. So Steve's
I met Steve
as long as I can remember.
Yeah, I met Steve back.
He doesn't look like he's aged that much.
No, he still looks the same. I'm grayer, older, and fatter, and Steve still looks like he did back when I met him in 07.
Right.
I mean, really. So Steve is amazing.
Yeah.
I can't talk enough about the good that he does in the world with his company and his personal views. And he is the Mac guy.
Yeah.
I've taught classes with him, and he has just Mac oozing out of his skin.
Yeah, exactly.
You can ask him a question, he'll pull that back. And if you're at his house, he'll have old technology. He has a whole basement full of old Mac stuff. Yeah,
he can start a Mac museum.
Oh, he absolutely could.
He probably should. That'd be funny.
His house is where Mac goes to die.
Yeah,
he just keeps it alive. Steve is one of a kind.
Yeah, and there's some phenomenal vendors though down through. There's some newer vendors that you have here. I don't know, has iPad Rehab been here?
This is the first time I saw them.
Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. So I've seen them at other shows, and you wouldn't maybe know from the name. It's not mall kiosk. These ladies, they're top notch in what they do when it comes down to getting the hardware from a device and get the device running again, so you can actually do extractions.
Nice.
Oh my gosh, it's I've seen some vendor-based training before. I've taken it. It's okay. These guys just blow it all away. I mean, blow it all away. They're real big in their repair circuit, things like that. If you go look at their YouTube channel, you'll see It's like they're huge. How did we never know about them? Because they never were in the investigative space.
No,
Yeah.
and that's how we started back in the day.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't that there was a forensic. It was like, how do I get into it?
Yeah.
So we start taking tools they're using for troubleshooting or
Yep.
diagnostics, and then morph
Yeah.
those tools into now it's forensic.
Right. We've put the label on it. So you
Exactly.
can jack the price up.
Exactly. Oh yeah, that's a $5,000 label right there.
Oh, it's so true. That's so stinking true. Oh man, yeah, and I don't know how many vendors are here right now, but just looking up, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I know there's another 4 or
Yep.
5 that way. So you probably got about close to 15 here, and you do 3 blocks of that. You do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of this week, and then we started yesterday, Thursday, Friday, get the weekend, and then back on Monday.
Yep.
And then you have another group Wednesday, Thursday.
Friday.
No, I'm sorry, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week. And man, the students get really exposure to all the companies out there offering in the space, and it's phenomenal. I can't speak enough on the exposure that you give to new students in the industry, so they're well aware that hey, there's somebody out there that's going to take care of you.
Oh, absolutely.
And they got your back. They hope you get that case solved.
And then so the students are in class from 8 to 4 ish. After that, there's evening labs. So on the concepts that they went up to today. So once again, this is a fire hose coming at you full of stuff.
Oh man.
And if you're brand new, you're drowning. But they come to the lab, and now you can get some one-on-one. They go over some of the concepts. And then they also have the vendor nights where the vendors provide food and drink, and they do some demos and do some giveaways. So you can actually see what some of the tools can do and do it that way. So as you're saying, that the exposure is rather large.
Mm-hmm. Another coffee cart
It
going by.
is.
I mean, we could probably reach out and touch that one. That was close. Really wasn't surprisingly that loud as I thought it was going to be. It was like right there.
I know. I was like, oh, okay.
I thought they were going to pull up right in front of the booth and just service.
Just shake and shimmy. Yeah. Yep.
You just service right here. We could use some.
Here comes the loud one.
It's not horrible. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see,
I take that back. Getting ready. The students are literally going to open these doors in just a few minutes.
Oh yes, they are.
So
it's gonna be like they're releasing the masses.
Yeah.
And it's like going to a hockey game. All the men's rooms lines going around and wrapping around, and women going straight in.
Yeah, because it's pretty quiet out here. You get the instructors, occasional students kind of filter through while the sessions are going in. Nothing really major. But man, as soon as that 10 till,
yeah,
hang on.
And they take their time limits very seriously. They stick to that 10-minute break every 50 minutes.
Oh yeah,
because it's the standard. And after an hour, especially some advanced concepts, they need a break.
Yeah,
then you get diminishing returns.
Yeah. Yep. No, for sure. And it's funny. In past years, I've always seen the instructors like literally dragging the students back in. They're like, no. But this year, they're going right back in.
Yeah,
they're going right back in, no problems, and no instructors are going to herd the cats back in the hall.
Yeah, I haven't heard. It used to be that they would a lot of yelling come back in, and they do some tricks to get them back into. So after every break, they do a giveaway.
Oh, that's right.
I also have written a book with Packet Publishing, Learn Computer Forensics.
That's right. We were going to talk about this book, and I forgot completely. Tell me about this book.
So
we got time. We got no time schedule, so we can go as long as we want.
So I've been teaching since 07.
Mm-hmm.
And any of the textbooks that you find in an upper level college, they're textbooks, but they don't help the person who's actually doing the examination.
Right.
It's all theoretical. It's nothing hands-on, nothing that gives you the meat of what an examiner does. Right. And that's what I wanted. And that's what I wrote. Packet approached me and said, would you be interested in writing a book on computer forensics? Mm-hmm. And I said, yeah. I said, this is what I'm looking at. I want to target the new and the intermediate examiner. Yeah. I wanted to be a resource for them. And I also wanted to cover the whole process from, I'm going to start forensics. What do I need to do? Right. What kind of tools do I need? What kind of education do I need? Yeah. To include report writing and testifying. Because none of the textbooks ever covered everything. Right. They never go through the process of what you need to do to get started. How do you select your tools? What works for you? What's your work process? What kind of workflow? Yep. And then what happens after you find the really cool stuff? It's like, now what do I do? How do I write a report? There's report writing is such an integral concept to what we do, because you have to communicate technical findings to a non-technical audience.
Oh boy.
And if you do a crap job, you're going to get a crap result. And I'm trying to get that across, because I've seen in labs that I worked where back in the day, you print up a 1,000-page NCASE report and then just hand that off to the prosecutor or whatever, and they're looking at it, it's like, yeah, why is this important?
Those were painful.
Yes.
Those were painful back in the day.
And it still happens. And
seriously, it still goes on,
it
huh?
still goes on.
Gosh.
I have been getting better reports. I do some consulting work for the military with their justice system, so I get to read reports from DC3, which does outstanding reports.
Yeah.
Army CID does some of the best reports that I've read. Yeah, one of our members, Vince Ullman, works for the Army CID. I told him today, I said, I just read one of the best reports that I've come across lately, and it's from Army CID.
Wow.
And
I would not expect that from.
I read a lot of reports, and the guy was straight. Could be a girl. And I think about it. The examiner was direct, straight to the point. Explained everything. It wasn't like, it wasn't like, here's a screenshot and that's it.
Right.
He explained. It was very well done.
Wow.
And I find that in the consultant work, I don't ever rarely disagree with the other examiner. What happens is the lawyers twist what they hear, not intentionally, because once again, we're going from technical to non-technical. So you do have those misunderstandings or the misapplication of what was said.
Yeah. It's the translation from the geekanese down to the regular human brain.
Exactly. Right? So, and that's what I want the book to help do. And then testifying. How many classes have you had about testifying, especially if you're not in law enforcement? No. Because if you're doing this on the civil side, you still might have to testify.
Oh yeah.
And if you're not comfortable, you can be the smartest dude in the world, the best examiner, but if you're not comfortable being under the spotlight and being questioned, especially when they're asking you hard questions, once again, you're going to undermine all your efforts, and your evidence is going to get discounted. And that's what I wanted to do, and that's what I did. Packet was actually very supportive.
Yeah.
And we're on the second edition now, and for the second edition, I wanted to make it more attractive to academia, and we created academic resources.
That's awesome. I wish I taught a computer forensic course. I wish and I couldn't find a book that I liked. I stopped 2 years ago teaching, and man, I wish I'd had it.
Yeah,
it would have made life so much easier. Use Bill's book. Use Bill's book.
Yeah, exactly. And I taught a class in Tennessee with Samari, and I was talking to the sergeant in charge of the ICAC unit.
Yeah,
he goes, "Your book saved me." he went through he went through IACIS, did the CFCE. He goes, "I still pull it out and look at things." He goes, "Just because you can't remember it all, especially nowadays." Yeah. But my goal was to be a resource. So if you needed to find a specific artifact, and it's Windows based, it's a Windows based book. I think trying to combine Windows and Mac would have been an even larger project. Yeah. I can look it up, look an index, there it is. Okay. And that's what I wanted to be. For those guys, I wanted to be able to reach up, pull it off. Where's the specific artifact? How does it help me? Why is it important? And same thing, doing the reports. Okay, I highlighted this. I created a screenshot. How do I explain it? Give examples in there, and that's what I want it to be. So
that's awesome.
So every year I have Packet. I ask Packet during this time. They donate 10 books to the BCFE class. They use it as giveaways to have students come in.
Nice.
And for IACIS members, they give a 25% discount code to order the current version of the book.
Okay. What's the name of the book? Because the doors are going to open. I want to make sure people can hear.
It's Learn Computer Forensics.
That is really simple.
That is
you can't get any more clear than that. Learn Computer Forensics.
And it's on Amazon. And the discount code is 25 IACIS, IACIS, no space. And if there's an issue or it doesn't work, look me up and send me a message. I'll fix it for you.
Perfect.
So
Perfect.
not,
All right,
not
I
a
just
big
wanted
deal.
to make sure before those doors open, because we may
Yeah.
have, I've not been broadcasting when the doors open, so I don't know what kind of noise level
It's
we're
going
going to be dealing with here as we cruise forward.
This is going to be like when the Golden Knights come out onto the ice and beginning
Yeah.
for the big game.
Right. So I'm hanging out now. We're that close. It's like 10 till at this point here.
I'm surprised they're not out
while
yet.
we're broadcasting. So yeah, I'm surprised they haven't. All some of the advanced classes are coming out. It's
Yeah.
easy to tell the difference. I like how you color code people.
Yep, they color code them, and the advanced classes try to get out 5 minutes beforehand because, once again, the bathroom lines.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's no way. Yeah, there's no way. We wait till everybody goes back as the vendors and sitting here and just kind of chilling, for sure. So yeah, if you guys haven't, go check it out. It's on Amazon. Obviously, very easy to go and look up. Learn computer forensics. Here come the doors. Now I'm glad we got that last thing in there. If you're interested in the book, and obviously, then after you go through that book, obviously you can find Bill out. Are you on LinkedIn? I'm sure.
I am.
Okay, yeah, you can find him out there. Message him if you got any questions on it. And then start looking at the IACIS training. And like I said, some of the best training that's out there is right here. And the fact that I know it'd be painful, but you have to come to Orlando, Florida every year to take it, right? I mean, literally you're, I don't know, 5 miles, not even 5 miles from Disney here.
No, yeah,
it's right down
10
the road.
minutes.
Yeah. And then I'm actually staying up at Universal this time down here. So we're staying at Cabana Bay, it takes me in the morning 10 minutes to come in.
Yeah.
Just drive down straight down. Was that 4? Yeah.
Yeah.
Come down 4, jump off the exit, and boom, right here. So we make it a little. The family's off at Universal right now, having a good time.
Yeah, and the Caribe, the conference right now is hosted at the Caribe Royale, and they've been nothing but amazing.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Between the convention space and then the rooms, they're all suites. So you get that separated area.
Yep.
So if you want to bring your family down for the weekend while you're here for the 2 weeks, it's very easily done. I can't speak highly enough of the venue. They bend over backwards for us, and I got no complaints.
Yeah, we've stayed here. Again, brought my family down. I think it was 2 years ago. We stayed here. We're in this tower 2, which is right behind us. If you move that backdrop here, and it overlooked the pool. The pool is amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing.
There's like I can't explain it. It's like a jungle all around it, and it's got a waterfall that's coming off of this fake rock, and there's a little water slide for the kids.
Slide to go down, and you go on behind the waterfall.
Yep,
it is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Places to eat like right there. There. And if you're an adult beverage type of person, then hey, it's literally reach your arm out and almost grab it from where you're sitting in your chair.
Exactly.
It's that close. So no, highly recommend checking it out. Check out your book. And thank you, man. I really appreciate hanging out,
brother.
Coming on the show. And we'll have to have you on again soon. On a regular Friday show, come on sometime. And,
absolutely.
And we can just yap. That way we don't hear distractions of carts and students coming out, and it's actually not too loud. I thought it was gonna be louder than what it was.
The roar is starting low.
Yeah, I gotta lean in a little bit more. I noticed, but other than that's all there is to it. All right, Bill. Thanks so much. Again, check out his book. Make sure you check it out on Amazon. Learn Computer Forensics, and we'll be going live here probably within the next hour at some point. So make sure you hit the like button, and there's also a little bell down there that'll get notified every time we do go live. And of course, subscribe to the channel. It always helps out. We're just here to spread information about digital investigations to all those who might be interested in it. Other than that, we'll see you guys next time. Again, thanks, Bill. Appreciate it.
Cheers.